this game ends up going the distance here. Simply the incoming... Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to game number 3 here of the ESports.DK final between our two Protoss heroes spawning in the top right-hand corner of Frost. We have, representing Grav EU, it's SpaceMarine, winning game number 1 and losing game number 2. His opponent spawning in the bottom left-hand position as the teal Protoss player representing ECV. We have Snovski. Pretty cool game 2 on Habitation Station. We saw some blink play coming out of SpaceMarine, trying to blink in from the gold base location to get some damage done as well. Ended up going into a late game where Snovski actually managed to get more snipes, if you like, on the worker line after trading some Warp Prison blows with those double immortals and picking off the natural expansion at the same time as the double immortal drop in the main, forcing the tap out from SpaceMarine. Very close game number 2 actually until the final minute or two. So really volatile matchup. I mean, mirror matchup in PvP. Not that surprising here. We'll see if they go for more macro oriented play here though in game number 3 on Frost. Neither player of course knows where each other spawn at the moment. I believe this is the latter edition of the maps. I don't think it's enforced cross spawn. Although I'm not 100% sure on the version of the map they've been using. No, this probe is being rallied to the bottom right, as you can see here. So this is not enforced cross spawns. These guys aren't 100% sure where the other guy is. And let's see if that ends up leading to a sneaky early nexus from one of these players. It is a kind of play we've seen before. So let's keep an eye out for what they want to do. So far, though, second gas is taken basically to the second of each other. We got the gateways coming down. Things looking pretty normal. And there, ooh, wow, double probe second pylon there, a little bit of a micro mistake from SpaceMarine, not going to matter too much in the big scheme of things. And these guys are basically mirroring each other at the moment. Not too much to say outside of that so far. We are going to get the first scout off though, for Snovski. And we'll be keeping an eye out for building placement, potentials for hidden buildings and things like that, as both players get their cybernetics cores underway. We have got SpaceMarine approximately 5 seconds faster, but given the distance between these guys, it's not going to matter too much. These probes are going to scout each other as well. There's a little bit of a kiss, and SpaceMarine will spot that there is an incoming enemy probe. So knowing that it's come from the bottom, SpaceMarine can basically rule out that his opponent is here. Because it would have either come from someone down here scouting up, or someone there who scouted to the right and is now scouting north. So that's kind of useful information for SpaceMarine, especially now that he will spot that nobody is here. And in the meantime, the visitor probe here is just going to be able to check stuff out until the mothership core gets here. And, well, SpaceMarine's not going to be able to do anything about it until 3, 2, 1, there we go. And he is, again, going to put down that fast Twilight Council. So we'll be keeping an eye on what that is for. The double gas was seen, although both sides are taking double gas right now. And we can actually see the faster Twilight Council is going to Snovski this time. Like map number 1, are we going to see some Dark Templar play come out on Frost? It could potentially happen. There is a lot of cliff to blink up on this map, it has to be said. So a blink is also pretty decent, but it is going to be DTs once again coming out from Snovski. Now, he couldn't make it work the first time around. We'll see if he can make it work the second time. This is going to be interesting. I mean, when SpaceMarine spots that this is happening, he has seen it once before, and remember on map number 1 on Altazim, it was really good awareness to force field off that ramp when he saw the shimmer of the DT. Don't forget, he never saw the Dark Shrine until the first Dark Templar was out on the field. So SpaceMarine seems pretty switched on there, and Snovski's saying, that was a bit of a fluke. I'm pretty sure I can get you the second time around. So we'll see if that ends up happening. Robotics facility getting put down as SpaceMarine at basically the perfect time. We also have a robo coming down as well for Snovski. Neither side taking their natural expansions just yet, although there is a stalker here kind of loitering with intent. Let's see if this probe is going to survive. No, he is not. Tries to build a pylon. Now that tells us something, because this is really frustrating for Snovski. He wanted to put that pylon down because frankly he's only got this to warp in Dark Templar. He doesn't want the stalker to see them. This is going to be tricky. Will this stalker spot warping in Dark Templars? Yes, he will, actually. He does see that side of it. So, is he going to spot? Oh, wow. Was he paying attention? Did he see it? A single Dark Templar moving up here. Do we have a sentry? We don't this time around. Is Snovski going to get inside the main base? The pylon's going to fall, but I think he managed to warp into DT right under the nose of SpaceMarine. Oh, and he tries to block it off with a couple of pylons at the end. It's not going to work. There is the Nexus, there is the Observer, and how many workers have been killed? 4 in exchange for that Dark Templar. So once again, we know the DTs are out, and SpaceMarine now is going to be countering with some Stalkers. He's going to see if he can get up in Snovski's face. He's got Blink now approximately 20 seconds from completion, and he's just going to put a little bit of pressure to say, hey mate, I think you really should consider cancelling this natural. And it looks like, well, after a little bit of a delay, we'll be popping back into this game here, and I think a couple more Stalkers here might actually force him to engage with his army to make sure he doesn't have to cancel this. He really does want to do that, because the natural's already up and running for SpaceMarine. He's at 29, now 30 probes versus 27 right now, and he wants to be able to maintain that kind of advantage by forcing this cancel. This is so close to completion that I really can't see Snovski just letting it go here. But he doesn't have that much of an army back home, that said. He's got, he needs Photon Overcharge on this pretty quick, but I think he should be able to apply it. There we go. And he's got a couple of sentries here to try and force the Stalkers back. Using Blink effectively is SpaceMarine, and he will get forced back here as double probe production finally can start for Snovski. SpaceMarine now ahead 6 workers. Neither side, of course, going for those upgrades just yet. They need all the money they can to go for those units right now. And I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest, SpaceMarine blinked in and tried to do that. I don't really think that was realistically going to take out the Nexus. We have an Immortal here as well, and a lot of these Stalkers now don't have that many shields. So why this happened, I'm not 100% sure. I think with this Immortal, Snovski should be feeling a little bit more safe, at least until now the round of Warp-ins comes in. But he does have to be careful. SpaceMarine always has the option to blink straight into the main base. And here we go. Great force fields to say, you better blink out right now, or I'm going to be able to flank you and kill off quite a lot of your army. He's now moving back into the main as well, knowing that there's an Observer here that he can potentially snipe the main. And he's coming back in to try and pick off a couple of probes. Will he get a Stalker for his efforts? Not quite there. SpaceMarine really running it quite close. Tries to get a pick off on the Mothership Core. Unsuccessfully does that. And now we have a situation where Snovski can go in. He will be able to pick off the pylon. Tries to pick off the Observer. So close to getting that done. And, oh, not quite able to pick off the Mothership Core. And that's going to cost him dearly. 4 Stalkers have gone down there for SpaceMarine. He is not going to like that at all. 2 more Stalkers come back up, though, to avenge their comrades and will successfully take down the Mothership Core. But that was a big price to pay. We now have Snovski. He's taken out that forward pylon. Yes, he's lost his Mothership Core, but he took out 4 Blink Stalkers as well. He must be feeling pretty good about that. And SpaceMarine now, he's just going to continue the pressure, try and do as much as he can. We'll be able to blink up into the main base, actually, but Snovski's already not that far behind. Oh, wow, and a second Immortal just popped. This is not good news for SpaceMarine. Yes, he's going to get a couple of workers, but this is carnage. Great warp-ins to stop those Stalkers going anywhere as well. And ouch, that is not a cost-effective attack. Number of workers killed so far this game, ladies and gentlemen, it's 8 versus 4. But those Stalkers took a massive beating. Units lost is 1,700 versus 1,000 at the moment. So SpaceMarine definitely losing a lot more than Snovski in this game, number 3. That's just a hallucinated Phoenix, so nothing too much to worry about from SpaceMarine's end as he continues to build more gateways. 4 more, in fact. I think he's actually going potentially for a follow-up push here. In addition to the robotics bay, which is now inside the main base. He's got charge and +1 about to complete as well. So really just trying to keep Snovski confined. Here is the double Immortal drop that we have seen so often in this series. It's going to be able to pick off a couple more workers. Actually picking off a couple of Stalkers. Snovski maybe not microing that quite as well as he should have. He'll get a couple of probes on his way out as well. This is doing fantastically for SpaceMarine. Great micro there with the Warp Prism as well. And he will successfully get out, dragging the number of workers killed from 8 to 13 this game so far in his favor. We've got a counterattack coming up though from Snovski, and it is going to be knocking on the door very soon. He needs to be so careful as he spots those 2 Immortals, but he can come in for a pretty sick flank. He's got the sentries here as well for force fields. There's not much he can do. Almost a complete donut there, and forced to use the recall. Really nice instantaneous move actually there from SpaceMarine, and recalling to the main base as well in case he just walks into the natural and kills everything. But right now, an Immortal goes down. He needs that Photon Overcharge. He gets it on this Nexus, but how long will it stay alive? He's actually force fielded up the main. The Immortals are up there. And this Nexus is getting pretty low, man. I don't think it's going to be able to survive. He only needs to click on it for like a second or two, and then it will go down. But he's not actually focusing it at the moment, and the Photon Overcharge is doing a reasonable amount of damage. I'm a little bit surprised there, to be honest, from Snovski. He did use the Time Warp, but I wonder what would happen if he just focused down the Nexus and used a recall instead. Right now, this engagement, I mean, it's still looking good for him because probes had to be pulled, of course, from SpaceMarine. He's down, I don't know. I really don't know. These probes aren't mining. But at the same time, I mean, we have like Havoc being wreaked here by this double Immortals. Look at this, probes being pulled by both sides. The main is in a little bit of trouble. The natural is in a little bit of trouble. We're just constantly counterattacking for both sides, and it's 33 versus 13. So these double Immortals have just done so much damage for SpaceMarine while this was going on. I'm not sure it's something Snovski can recover from unless he somehow kills all these probes. In which case, okay, fair enough, we've got a game. But right now it's 41 probes versus 17. And this is looking pretty difficult here for our teal player. Nice force fields actually, but even better micro with the Warp Prism means that none of these units can really get to the Immortals right now. And wow, there is a big struggle to even kill a single one of these Immortals, managing to pick off one of them, but just so much damage being done by SpaceMarine. He is up 88 to 33. GG! And it looks like SpaceMarine is going to be able to win game number 3. Moving into a 2-1 lead in this best of 7 series.